everyone, this is Kona, and in this video we're going to talk about numeric and categorical data, so how you can analyze it, and specifically we're going to be doing this with descriptive comparison and a box plot. So big thing here, you do need a numeric and categorical data. The example question we're going to be looking at is, do the hours a person spends exercising differ based on whether or not they have a pet? So the variables used here would be, first, make sure you have that numeric piece of data, or that numeric variable, and it's the number of hours a person spends exercising. Then you would need a categorical. In this case, we picked the category, do you have a pet? Yes or no. All right, we're good to go. The next step is just entering in these things right here. So let's just go ahead, come on over. We're going to go up to Stat, Basic Stats, Display Descriptive Statistics. So looking here, you can see that we need to enter this in. So the first one, our variable, that is going to be your numeric. That's your number. So what's the numeric one? Well, in this case, it's hours exercise. Remember, that's the first one. Then your by variable, for that one, is your categorical. So big thing here, make sure you really do pick the right categorical variable, because once you click over here, it gives you all variables on both the numeric and the categorical. So make sure you pick the right categorical. In this case, it is pet. For statistics, we're going to go ahead and click on it. You want mean, standard deviation. Then sometimes it's good to have the first quartile, median. So basically kind of the normal descriptive statistics I would recommend, but definitely you want your mean and your standard deviation. Go ahead and click OK there. But then, since we're already in here, we're going to go ahead and do graph, and let's do a box plot as well of the data. Then let's click OK. All right, so what we see, first of all, is the descriptive statistics. So it's broken apart, so the hours exercise is broken apart by people who have a pet, that's the pet one, that's 13, versus don't have a pet. So what does this show? Well, people who have a pet, on average, exercised for 7 hours versus people who didn't have a pet, who only exercised 5.56 hours on average per week. Yet, look over here at their standard deviation, and it does look like your spread, so how much variability was in your data, it is higher for the pet owners versus the not pet owners. You can also see, if you look at your min, your max, your Q1, Q3, there definitely is some differences here. I mean, look at the median here. The median for no pet was only 3.5 hours. So basically 50% of the data was below 3 points. So that means a good chunk of people exercised less than 3.5 hours. So if anything, and if you remember, I think I've said this before, that one of the things that the mean and standard deviation are really impacted by are outliers. So to me, it kind of makes me wonder if there's a couple of variables in some of this data that, especially the no pet data, that's maybe skewing it a little more one way or the other. So to get a better idea of this is where your box plot comes in. So if you look at the box plot, you can see that the pet owners have a much wider, longer. Now, I will say this box plot is tilted on its side. So in this case, your Q1 is down here, your median Q2 is right here, and your Q3 is right here. Also, it's kind of nice that if you mouse over it, you do get that type of information. So you also see right here, that's your max, here's your min. So if you look, this range is much larger for pet owners versus non-pet owners. So you could say, well, wait a second, yeah, people exercise less, it looks like if they have a pet, but look at that, so 50%, so okay, way more at the 50% mark, but if you look over here, and this is your 75% of the data, so think about it, this is Q3. At Q3, 75% of the data is falling below there. So 75% of people exercised 10 hours or less. Well, here, that's really, what is that, 9.75, and that's actually 9.5. So extremely close. So in all honesty, their chunks are kind of similar. It has more to do with maybe the range here. So just something you can look at, something you can also see that actually the low point is actually lower for the pet owners than it is for the non-pet owners. So these are just things that you could kind of talk about if you were trying to explain it. These are all just, I don't know, for me, interesting things to say. And I hope this helped you better understand how to take that numeric and a categorical variable and find some information and do a comparison and talk about it.